for Community Medical Group. We call them CMG for short. They have, like I said, over 20 locations, but each there are some offices that are split up into three. So for example, like this one, the office in Miami, it has two parts. It has one that services the patients that are adults, and then there's a pediatric side which they only service children, kids. Um, so you see here, here, here. Yeah. This is the CMG and the sorry, the ticketing system. They're called AMG. They used to be called Access Medical Group, but they changed their name recently, and now they're CMG. But in in the ticketing system, they always start with AMG of and then the location.
Okay.
Contact, you don't have to worry about. That's something new. You don't, you can leave that blank. So status, there are several status types. So normally when a ticket comes in, or when you create a ticket, it'll automatically be created with the new status. It's very important that when a ticket comes in and you're assigned to it, that you change this from new to the in progress status, so you can know that when we check your tickets, you can know that you're working on it. If it's stuck on new for a while, then that means that most likely you haven't seen it or it hasn't been opened yet. Uh, so this one to dispatch, when there's a problem that we can't solve remotely, like we've done everything and the issue is still happening, and we need somebody to go on site, in person to fix the problem. We have a team of technicians who do travel to the offices or the locations, and they're in the dispatch team. So whenever a ticket needs someone to go on site, we always use the to dispatch status, and then we send it to the dispatch team. To order, you don't have to worry about that. That's if just like let's say you need to order some equipment or a license needs to be ordered. Um, we'll use the status to order. To quote, that's for more for dispatch. But in case you do get a ticket like that, that mean like let's say a customer says, I would like to know how much a computer setup will cost. That would be a dispatch, and you will put it use the to quote status. Dispatched, that'll be dispatch that changes it. So let's say you put in the ticket to dispatch to go send a technician to do something on site. When the technician is already on their way over there, you see the ticket with dispatched, meaning that the technician is already working on the ticket. Waiting materials, you don't have to worry about that. That's more for dispatch, just in case we order something and we're waiting for something to arrive. We'll put waiting materials. Pending, you'll put like let's say you're following up on the ticket or you're working on the ticket that it's gonna take some time and you're pending and you're waiting for information. You'll put pending and then you'll put what you're waiting for. So let's say you email a user or you call a user and they they're pending to give you some information to continue troubleshooting. You'll say you put pending and then you'll say waiting for this information from this user. So that way we know that you're working on the ticket, you're just waiting for information. And then complete means the ticket is done. You you will mark it as complete once you fully make sure that the issue is resolved. Because there have been some times that we close tickets and the next day the user calls back because the same issue is happening again. Just make sure that before doing complete, make sure just follow up with the user 1 to 2 times after the issue's been resolved to make sure that you don't have to reopen the ticket again. Uh, so after status, we have priority. So there are 4 levels of priority. So medium is 90% of the tickets will have the medium status. That means it's not too urgent, but it's something that we have to work on. So Um, Most of the tickets that you create or you receive will be medium. High status priority tickets are the ones that, for example, if a user needs access to something as soon as possible, or if a user cannot use a computer and it cannot work, sorry, you put it under high. Critical, critical is only for really bad emergencies. Like let's say a service goes down or the Wi-Fi goes down in an office and nobody can work. It affects multiple people. Then we'll put it in critical. And then the low priority are for requests that they're not too urgent that we could take our time on. Like let's say, for example, if something needs to be picked up, but that's not too urgent, we'll put it in low. So we usually leave the tickets with low priority for when things are slow or we're taking care of all of our other tickets. We'll move on to the low status tickets. So make sure that the first three pieces of information that you'll fill out when you open a ticket or create a ticket is the company, the status, and the priority. And then you move on here to the section that says ticket information. So like I said, queue, there's various queues. We're in the help desk, so all of our tickets will be in the help desk queue. Engineering is another queue. They're a level above us. They take care of things like security tasks, system maintenance, stuff like that. They're in charge of that. So if anything needs to be escalated to engineering, or if it's something that we can't deal with remotely, we'll most likely escalate it to engineering. Operations is the dispatch people, and yeah, it's basically dispatch. So anything that you need to send to dispatch, you use the operations queue. Monitoring alerts, that's more for engineering. We haven't received that many monitoring alerts tickets. What that means that the system that we use to do like device management and stuff like that, asset management, if it if the system detects that the computer has been breached by a security breach or been hacked, or like the memory is filling up or it's running out of space, it'll send us an alert letting us know, hey, this is happening to this computer, please look into it. That's more for engineering. So work type. Since we're assisting the users remotely, we always use remote. Um, On site is just for people for dispatch tickets. PD maintenance, you don't have to worry about. We do service, we help police departments, but I don't think you'll be taking calls from there. Service guarantee, you don't have to worry about it as well. And travel, you don't have to worry about. So the main tool that you focus on is remote and outside. The sub issue type, oh sorry, issue type. So once this is filled out, um, you have to fill out the issue type box. So if you get a call or you get a ticket and the user reports something that's not working, you need to fix it. 90% of your tickets will be break fix. It means something broke or something's not working and you're fixing it. Software development, you don't have to worry about that. And VoIP, you don't have to worry about that. Just focus on break and fix. Submission type, again, it's like the work type. You just on site for dispatch tickets and remote for our tickets. And then primary resource, you can only have one person in there. So if you create a ticket or if you open a ticket or you receive a ticket and you're the primary person, you're the first person to, or you're the main person to be working on a ticket, you'll put yourself there. You can either type in your name here or you can use this box and you'll get a bigger list of everyone in the company. The secondary resources, let's say for example, I'm working on the ticket and Joshua helps me out with the ticket. I'll add myself as a primary and then I'll ask Joshua as a secondary. So that way when I close the ticket, we both get credit for doing that ticket. And then like I said, we'll create a ticket. For example, if I create a ticket today, we'll put the due date for next week. But if, like I said again, if it's something urgent, I will either put the due date at the end of the day today at 5 o'clock, or I will give myself more time and put it due for tomorrow. If if you're working on the ticket that takes some time, and you'll notice that let's say you're working on the ticket and you go over the due date. So let's say if I had a ticket due yesterday, I still have it open. You will see the ticket like this. It'll appear in red, meaning that I went over the due date for the ticket. So in that case, you'll just change the due date. You give yourself more time, and then you'll put a reason why you need more time. So let's say I'm working on a ticket to get a license, and you're waiting for the license to be purchased, and you go over the due date. I would just simply put it due for the next day. Say I'm still waiting for the license to arrive or something like that. You just always make sure you put a reason why you need more time. And then here, devices. Devices is optional, but I always like to put it here when you're working on a ticket, especially for CMG. It's always important to write down your computer name, and then that same computer name you put here into this box. So that's on the right side. Sorry, we'll be able to see this information. This just is it gives a little bit information, more information about the computer. For example, it gives the computer name, the user who is logged into the computer, the device type, what operating system it has, the storage, and stuff like that. If you're working on a ticket that involves multiple computers, then like I said, it's like the resource. You put the one of the computers here, and you put the extra ones here. So the title you can put something brief. I always put like a summary, not a summary, but like a couple of words of to name the title, the ticket, and then the description of your ticket will go here. Who did the user that reported the issue, what do they need, and stuff like that. Here to put in your your notes or what you did for the ticket. We'll hit time entry. Here you'll put in where's the summary notes, what you did to resolve the ticket, and then you put the time here. And then you can always, let's say, you put some ticket time in today, and tomorrow you work on it again. You can always just change the date here as well. And then internal notes, there's no notes that only we can see it. So if it's a client opens the tickets, they won't be able to see what you put here. And then you can also change the status. So let's say I put in the whatever information here, and then I can just call out the ticket here. And then one more thing, ticket. Here in ticket category at the top, there's two types of tickets that we deal with. One incident. The incidents are the ones that we're fixing something that's not working. And then service request. Service request, it changes the options here. Those are more for like uh request from the users. For example, a user wants to they want new equipment, they need access to something, they want to transfer the information to another computer. Anything that's doesn't involve us fixing something is going to be a service request. So you'll see here issue type, it changed a little bit. So here you'll use either remote maintenance um, for our tickets or help desk tickets. And then here you'll see two different options, general user request and system maintenance. I always use general user request for almost everything. System maintenance, you will only use that options if you're onboarding a user or if you're offboarding a user. That's the only time I use it. Everything else would be general user request. A service request is for it's for dispatch. Here, general on-site requests, you can just put that for all of the dispatch tickets. If it's something that needs to be installed, like a computer needs to be installed, set up at a desk, it'll be physical installations. And then if they request to move something, so let's say I want to physically move a computer from one part of the office to another, or let's say I want to move a server from this office to this office, we do move. But that's about it for the ticket. Do you have any questions so far?
Not at the moment, but thank you.
And then here, this is the queue. This is the queues. This is help desk. You notice here there's different options here as well. If you go to my workspace, if you go to the first one, open tickets. Those are the tickets that are assigned to you directly that are still open. So, for example, I have 4 tickets open. I have 2 that are pending, and then 2 more that are in progress that I'm working on. So any time you want to check what tickets you have open that you're working on, you just go to open tickets. It'll tell you here as well how many open tickets you have. Overdue tickets, this just means you have tickets that you're still working on that you went over the due date. So I have here one here that I'm still working on. Submitted tickets, that just means the tickets that you sent over to dispatch. So you don't have to worry about those. Closed tickets are the amount of tickets you closed throughout your time with Luxion. Change requests and service calls, you don't have to worry about that. Don't use those. And yeah, this is the help desk queue. So this you can see the tickets from everyone. You'll see here. There's tickets assigned to Juan, tickets assigned to dispatch. Carlos Tejeda, he's this dispatch. Ticket assigned to me, and then another ticket assigned to Juan. And yeah, so anytime that you need a reference, let's say you get a call about a ticket and it belongs to somebody else, you can look in here in the queue. Say, oh, this ticket that the user is calling about is assigned to Juan, so let me just ask Juan for the ticket. And anytime that you need to look for a ticket or look for a client, you can use here the search bar at the top. There's different filters. Ticket. Let's say you're looking for a ticket, but you don't know the exact ticket number. You just say, for example, I'm looking for a ticket about a camera. It'll look for tickets that are either have the word camera in it or have to it's a request for a camera. Everything look for everything related to that camera. Also, if you have a ticket number, let's say Carlos sends you a ticket number, you can copy and paste that ticket number into here and it'll find it for you. And let's say you want to look for a company or a client of ours. This one, I want to look up this client. We'll look up the search of the client, and then it'll appear here. And that this will give you all of the information for the client. This give you who's the account manager, which will be us, the primary contact, the type of service or contract that they have with us, the address of the office, the phone number. And here, the tickets that have been open and closed by them. Um, Assets are the computers or devices they have. Second configuration is any time that you need to get information for the client. So let's say an IP address or a account credentials for an account for them, or anything that you need for information. It'll be a second fig. That's where we store our notes for the clients. You're always welcome to add more information if you have. So let's say you open an account for them and you want to add it to the second fig, you can add it right here. The contacts is people who we can contact from the clients. And yeah, that's about it for the task. Well, I'm not sure if you want to show us something else.
Yes.
No, I think you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marco.
Yeah, sorry. It's just that, well, I have basically two questions. The first one is,
Yeah,
well, I understood about the environment about Autotask. However,
yeah.
maybe when will I receive the credentials to access?
We're working on that. I know they're still working on setting you up with everything else. It'll
Okay, okay,
be
okay.
most likely later today.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And the second question is, well, I see so many tickets on in progress. So, well,
Yeah,
basically, because if I have, for example, just that I have no any tickets assigned to me, I just have to look it up and open tickets and check what I'm having. Am I right?
yeah. So if you don't want to see so many tickets, like sometimes the queue gets crazy. It gets like over 20 tickets. If you don't want to see so many tickets and you want to see just yours, go to here to open tickets, and it'll just show you all of the tickets that you have assigned to you that are open, and you'll see here the status. You'll most likely, well, what I like to do is when I receive a ticket, I change the status from new to in progress so that people know that I'm working on the
Well,
ticket.
Okay. That's
al-
the thing that I wanted to know. Uh-huh.
Also, Marco, you want to go ahead and always like refresh your ticket. Um, Pedro, go ahead and show them what that little refresh
Yeah.
sign is on top there.
So let's say
Right
anyone assigns you a
above.
ticket, anyone sends you a ticket, and say, hey, I assigned you a ticket, but you don't see it still, you don't still don't see it on your end. You can use this ticket, you can just refresh here at the browser, but that takes a long time. There's two refresh buttons here on Autotask. You can use this one, which refreshes everything here, and then this one just refreshes the queue. So if you want to update everything here on the left hand side, you use this one. And if you just want to refresh the queue, use this one, and then whatever ticket, a new ticket that comes in, you'll see here at the top.
Okay, Roger that. Thank you. Yeah, well, basically that's it. So I just need to put in practice what I have learned here, basically. But if I have more questions, I guess that I can post it in the team. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or you can just talk here, like we're talking right now.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, we leave this chat open always, so we can always communicate with each other. If someone runs into a problem, one of the guys will ask, and we help the guys, or vice versa.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if you could take a call with this on, it would be great. Some of us disconnect from the call, and but gets right back after the call.
Okay. Sorry, yes, I remember also another question. Uh, for what reason, I mean, about the part of making calls, for what reason do you usually make calls and how do you do this? Or for what's the reason? Yes.
Okay, so besides your job, besides um managing the queue here, the tickets, you'll also see this 3CX app that we use. You'll see, you'll get incoming calls, and for
Yes.
every call that you get here, every call that you do here, you have to create a ticket here in Autotask. So let's say you take 20 calls during the day, you should have at least 20 tickets open for the day or created for the day.
Okay.
So you'll receive calls, you create a ticket, or sometimes they don't even call. They'll create a ticket here within the portal, and then let's say you have to follow up with somebody, or you want to get more information, you want to follow up with somebody, or you're ready to start troubleshooting. So most of the times, the user will leave their phone number here to call them. But if they don't, you can just always ask us for the information. We'll give it to you. And yeah, you'll use this app to make the calls and receive the calls.
Okay. Got it.
Carlos, what else do you want to show them?
No, I guess that was it. I guess we need to know. He doesn't have any more questions on it. So I guess we should just share our screen while we're in the call, so he
I
can
can
get an idea.
I mean,
Let's go ahead and do that too.
okay. So this is a different application or software that we use. That's called OnGuard. That's what we use to connect to computers and to servers. So that this application uses your Luxray credentials. So we'll get you set up. We'll get you set up with this later today. So basically, this is a general rundown. If you want to connect to a computer, if you get a call and you want to connect to a computer, you would ask the user to get you the computer name. So let's say a user calls me and their computer name is CMG-1010. You can put the name here, name of the computer here, and it'll appear here. But if the user doesn't know how to get the computer or find the computer name, you just ask the user for the full name. Let's see, Jacqueline. Um, as long as you put the username correctly, it'll also bring up the computer. If a computer is offline, sometimes the computer is completely off or it's not connected to the internet. It'll appear like this. It'll appear grayed out. So that means you can't connect to it unless it connect online. So
Okay.
if it appears like this white, that means it's online. You can connect to it. So to connect to it, you can either double click it and it'll let you connect. And then here, if you just click it once, here it'll give you a little bit of information about the ticket, about the computer. It'll tell you how long it's been on, or when was the last time someone connected to the computer.
Pedro, do me a favor,
Uh,
Pedro. Quick.
I'm a little busy one.
No, because I have used my CMJ credentials and they don't work.
It don't work.
Let's go ahead and get them reset for you. Do you forget your password, or you just need to unlock it again?
No. My password's already saved, but when I enter my credentials, they don't work.
Okay, I'm on the server. Go to CMG dash. Here, let's go to.
It's not about my CMG account is blocked. It's
You have two options to connect to it. You can either double click it, or you can press it once and press this button, and then you connect to it. It'll be this. It'll take a little bit to load. And then once it's connected, it'll show you the screen. Here, this is for the screen, so you can see the screen. Shell, that is a command prompt. So let's say you want to run a command without the user seeing it. You run it through here. File transfer, if you want to download, you want to send a file to the computer, you can do it here. System information, it just gives you information about the computer. The registry access, which is I never use registry access, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Here on the right side, you get different options. This X is to disconnect from the computer. These I never use, so I don't focus on those. Here, if you want to send the, like, let's say you're on a phone with the user and for whatever reason the call drops or the user can't hear you or anything like that, you just send a message here and it'll appear there and you can talk to the user there too. Chat bot the chat here too. Here, send a file, it's the same thing as this. File transfer, you can send a file to here. Here's just more information about the computer. Displays. This is let's say they have more than one monitor. You'll be able to see how many monitors they have here, switch between the monitors. Here you can take a screenshot of the computer screen. You can make if this is too small, if you can't see it, you can make this a little bit wider. Or you can zoom in. Here, if you want to make a full screen, you can make a full screen as well. It's this button. Yeah, full screen. Yeah. And then here you have options as well. Here it gives you different, like, if you want to open control panel, of that. If you want to run anything here. This is more for like Windows tools. This is Control Alt Delete. So let's say let's add that it responds like if you did Control Alt Delete on the keyboard, and then you have these options. Here you have three options. You have option to restart the computer, to shut it down, or to reboot into safe mode. And then you just do whatever you need to do here on the computer. And once you're done, you can just disconnect from the computer. And then you're done. Here it'll show you how many the active sessions computers you're connected to. So I'm connected to just a bunch of servers right now. Here you can filter the devices. So these are the computers that you recently connected to. Personal, it always going to be empty. These are the different clients we have. So for example, let's go to CMG. These are the servers that they use. This one CMG-DC-net2. This server controls the door system for the offices. So if somebody can't get into the office or they need access to a certain part of the office, we'll use this server to give them the access. What else? This one is the server that has an Active Directory, so you'll do user management to there. There also each office also has a local server. So let's say just in case this one is down, you can't get into this one. You can use one of the other servers or one that we're using right now. This one. This one is the management server, which has the same access as this one. What else? This one, the print server. This one controls all of the printers in the offices. They use one. Each office has at least one big printer, which is Canon, I think. And they're connected to the server. So anytime they need to troubleshoot a server remotely, or troubleshoot a printer remotely, you can do it to the server. Yeah, so the main servers that you'll focus on is the DC one, PS, the print server one, and then that too. If you're not sure, if you don't feel comfortable connecting to those
Getting
computers, or
4 City.
if you don't feel connected, comfortable connected to servers, you can let me know or Carlos know, and we'll connect with you. Then here's a different clients we have. This is our CMG. Here, this is out of the CMG computers. This is just computers, no servers. Yeah, those are that's Bumgar. Like I said, we'll send you the file to download the app, and then we'll get you set up later today with Bumgar. Do you have any questions so far?
Not at the moment.
That's Bumgar. Let me show you about our auto software. But this is another service that we use. It's called Datto RMM. It's this portal is connected to the Autotask one. They're from the same company, and this is the service we use for device management. So let's say you need to find any computer, any server, any device from any of our clients. You use this. Let's say I want to find a certain computer. You can look it up by the computer number, like Baumgar, or you can look it up by the person's name. Looking it up, if you look up by the person's name, it'll tell you how many computers are connected to. So let's say you'll see one person that could be connected to a whole bunch of different other computers or devices. Here, once you open a computer, it'll tell you the name. It'll tell you a summary of the computer. Here, it'll tell you which client it's from, description, what type of computer it is, what operating system it has, just like the same information here from Autotask. Here you'll see if the antivirus is working, if it's running. Here if this tells you if the computer is up to date with updates, and here if it has updates done and it needs to restart, it'll tell you here. So yes, it'll be red. Then here it gives you a little bit more information about Windows. Here you see what type of computer, what brand the computer it is, the model, the serial number, the motherboard, processor, how much memory it has. Here this is just for the Windows updates. And then this here, it'll monitor how the systems are working. It'll tell you how much memory it's used. Here is if you don't want to connect to a computer and you need to check if a software is installed, go here to software, and it'll tell you how all of the programs that are installed on the computer. And then here is the memory. So let's say you want to upgrade the computer's memory. We need to know how much memory it has and how many sticks of memory it has installed. So here, for example, this one has 16 gigs memory, which is one stick installed. So you can get the information from here. We give you information about storage and any licenses that we buy or we activate for the computer. It'll go here into metrics. Here, this is a license for Microsoft Office. But if you want to upload a license for the computer, you have a bunch of different options. Adobe, BitLocker, Microsoft Office, Adobe, stuff like that. Here you can run a bunch of different commands. So let's say a computer doesn't appear in Bumgar and you need to install it. Just go here, you just type in the word Bumgar. Here, you'll see it filtered by our different clients. This one is just for servers. This is for workstations for CMG. This one of our police departments, one of our clients. So you'll see here that you can run it remotely. Then let's say you want to change the computer from one location or one client to another. You could do move to another site, and it'll ask you for the client's name. And then if you can also restart the computer from RMM. If you do this one, schedule reboot, it'll reboot the computer for you. And here, if you're not sure where to look or how to look for the computer, you can use the options here. Sites is just out of our clients. This will show you a list of all of our clients. Devices, it'll show you all the devices. You can look it up manually. But those are groups you don't have to worry about. Automation, this is the commands that we can run. Yeah, our main ones that main things I would worry about is searching the computer here. That's just using sites and devices. You don't have to worry about the rest of those. And yeah, that's this portal uses the same account that you use for Autotask. So as soon as you get access to Autotask, you'll be able to access this portal as well using this option. And at the bottom left is called Data RMM. So, do you have any questions about that?
Yes, I have two questions. First one is you mentioned about first of all, you mentioned about the police station that, of course, you mentioned that we are not often work with them. However,
Yeah.
when maybe there is a circumstance that maybe we can find a case from them,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, am I able to work on it right at the moment, or I have to wait for a certain time of period?
Well,
Uh,
yeah.
mhm.
Well, I had to ask Carlos, but we want to give you some time before you start taking calls and stuff like that. So
Okay.
as soon as you're set up with all your accounts and we give you the basic training, then you'll be ready to take calls.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And the second one maybe, I mean, just to be prepared, what will be the most common issues that we will receive on a daily basis?
Stuff like this, like show you put some examples here. Um, Stuff like my account is blocked. I need to change my password. I need access to this. It's like here, like this. Stuff with the phone system, something's not working with the phone system. Here they use CMG, they use a like a database application. It's called ECW. Um, it's let me show you like a brief look at that. So this is the application that they use. This is where they do almost all of their work. So most of the problems they report will come from this portal, which is just troubleshooting the browser. It's not this is not too complicated once you learn it. So like 85% of the problems will be this. The other 15% will be account being locked. Um, my password's not working. My printer's not working. Monitor's not working. Stuff like simple stuff like that.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Well, that was cover my questions by the moment.
Let's see what else. Give me just 1 second. I'll be back. This is all pulled from the Active Directory. Your status, by default they're active. Bypass, we're not allowed to put anybody on bypass mode unless it's authorized by engineering. Here, you don't have to worry about this, just leave it here. Groups, there are specific groups in the Active Directory that give them access to Duo, so if they're not in any of these groups, they're not gonna be able to use Duo. And here it'll tell you when the account was created, when the last time the user used Duo. Here, recent authentications is a log of like the activity. Here, for example, here I logged into a server and I got a notification on my phone to approve the connection. So here it'll say granted. If it's not, let's see if I can. If it's not accepted, it didn't work. It'll say denied. It'll say denied. It'll tell you why it's denied. So most of the time it's a mistake on the user's part. So what happens is that they try to log into the VPN, for example, and they send a notification to their phone. Sometimes they will not look at their phone, and after 30 seconds, the login fails. That'll tell you here. Also, there's time all the phones have to be up to date with the latest updates, either on iOS or on Android. So if it's out of date, it'll tell you here, iOS version out of date or Android version out of date. Also here it'll tell you where they're accessing it from. So we're in this part of Florida, city of Florida, Miramar. It'll change the location based on where they're from. Here endpoints, it'll be mostly their phone. Sometimes it'll appear on like this at Chrome, based on whatever they use on a computer. Here it'll also tell you if the browser is out of date. It's also important to keep the browsers up to date as well. Hardware tokens, only police departments use hardware tokens. Every other client don't use it. They're like little fob keys like this, like these small things that they use that they carry around with them, which generates a 6-digit code. Like I said, only the police departments use that. Every other client just uses their phone or the application on their phone. Bypass codes, we only use bypass codes just in case, like they don't have their phone with them, or if it's somebody that needs to get something as soon as possible. We'll give them a bypass code that'll when they're prompted to put that authentication, we use a code there. This one we don't use, so you don't have to focus on desktop authenticators we never use. So don't focus on these last two. So here, phones, it'll tell you the information about the phone. So it'll tell you the number. It's very important that to make sure that their phone number is correct. Without that, it won't work. It'll tell you their version of their phone. Like for example, I'm on the latest version of iOS. It'll tell you and it'll tell you here as well if it's out of date. Like security warnings, it'll say out of date or something like that. The model of the phone. Let's say they change phones or they change numbers or somewhat, and that account gets deactivated. Do here to reactivate Duo. Then you have two options. You can send it to your phone number by SMS. This first one, this What this does is it sends them two links. The first link is to install the Duo application. So the Duo app looks like this. It has this icon. It's like this. Something like this. So that's to install it. And then once they have it installed, this one, it sends them a link, another link to activate the app. So what to do is they'll get that link, they'll open it on their phones, and then it'll take them to the Duo application on their phones. It'll ask them what they want to name the account. So for example, if you're setting up a CMG user, I just have them put the name CMG, and they save the name, and then as long as they do it correctly, then it should generate a 6-digit code, and as long as they see this code, that means that it's set up and it's active. If you want to get rid of accounts, you can always. What I always do is I get rid of the phone here. You can press this, and then this one sync this user. Then what that means that, let's say you change your password, you do whatever, change your account, and you want it to reflect on Duo. At the moment, you can do sync this user, and that syncs it automatically by itself. Duo does refresh like every night, so by every night before the beginning of a new day, it reflects the changes done during the day, throughout the day. Devices. These are just like the phones, everybody's phones in the company. And yeah, that's basically this Duo. We do also have, this is just the Duo for CMG. The Duo for other clients is exactly the same, just some options change, but the main one that you'll be using is the CMG one. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I mean, well, I basically work before with Duo Authenticator and creating and deleting some users. I'm curious about the way that we take calls because,
Yeah.
well, in case, for example, a customer or yes, a customer call us in order to, well, maybe basically reset the authenticator, I change the phone or something like that. Will we use or we will follow verification process before to, well, basically provide what the customer is asking for?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, yeah, sure, I can reset the authenticator. Can you please give me your full name, date of birth, or something like that?
Oh, we don't go that deep. We just ask for the username, like their name and their phone number. As long as that matches here, then we can proceed. Normally we don't get like too many fake calls like that. If that happens, you could just let us know. We'll go from there. But normally we'll just verify like what's your name, what location you're from, and what's your phone number. And as long as those match up, then we can continue.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's my only question. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's do so let me show you about the phone system for CMG. So CMG, we used to use 3CX for CMG. It's the one that we use now for us. But late last year, they they moved to Ring Central. It's a little bit easier to use for them. So here, once you get access to it, this also uses your CMG. Okay? This also uses your CMG credentials. So once you get access to that later on, you'll be able to play with it. But anytime that you wanna just look up an extension or manage it, you wanna look up change the name on an extension, you can go through here. For example, say you look up somebody, you can either look them up by name or their extension number if you know. Here, so you get different options. User details. Here, the first name, last name, the position of that person. The extension number, you don't change it. It's assigned by default. Email. When you add an email, just press this, just to make sure that it saves. And then this, make sure that these two boxes are checked, and then press save. Devices and numbers. This shows you how many phones that they're using, or if they're using the. They also use. Some of them don't have a phone at all, so they use the application on the desktop. So it'll tell you if they have a phone or the app here. It'll show you information about the phone. If you want to change a phone, let's say a user is getting a phone replaced, you click on the phone. You click on the phone that they already have. You click change phone, and then you always do bring your own device, and then you just put the information out for the phone. Phone, you can like change some of the rules. For example, incoming calls. If you want to set an extension to always forward any calls that come to that extension to another one, let's say I wanna set it up to where this extension, any calls that come into 1117 go to 1111. So here you enable forward all calls, and then you just add the rule. Do not disturb. If you want to set the phone to not receive calls, then you could do not disturb. And then you can also manage like the call schedule. Here, let's say I want to set the phone only to receive calls from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You set it up here. You can also set it to where sometimes, like especially administrators, they will have a desk phone and the app on their computer and cell phone. So you can set it to when every time they get a call, all three devices ring at the same time. Here, this generates the voicemail message. Here you can manage like the incoming call information, what they can see when the call comes in. It'll show you here what numbers they have blocked. This auto answer calls, we leave it off. This, if you set it on, anytime the phone rings, it'll automatically pick up the call. A voicemail, you don't have to worry about that too much. And then most of the users, they will get assigned to ring groups. So that means they will receive, like us, they'll receive calls that come into a certain queue. So let's say somebody dials 1111, it'll also ring by extension. Let's see. So here, like, this is our queue for the IT help desk. You go to here, call handling and members. It'll show you everybody who's a part of that queue. Like for example, there's just one person that's in the queue. As long as they have these two options enabled, they'll receive calls that come into this extension. Yeah, that's about it for that side. Then you can also get like a call log. Let's say you want to see how many calls or what calls an extension got for the day. You can go look it up here. So let's do, for example, 111. These are all the calls that this extension got for just the day of, or this is the week, so I should do today. These are all of the calls that came in today for extension 1111. Normally, we don't worry about that. We don't focus on that. The administrators will, but if in case that you get a request to look up how many calls or who called this extension at what time, you go to here, you go to reports and then call log. And yeah, this is the app. This is how the app looks like. It's pretty much the same as what we have here, the web version. When I logged in, go to the keypad, call log, any voice messages that they got. Here they can send texts between them. I mean, well, this option doesn't work, but you can send messages between them. If you want to look up an extension or a person's phone number here, you can just look up the person here, look at the name, and then it'll show you the extension. So here, the extensions, so when you do calls, you'll do it through here, through 3CX, but you're gonna see if you try just to call like 2614 and 3CX, it's not gonna work. You have to look at the user, and then here you use the primary number to call them through 3CX. And yeah, that's RingCentral. Do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment. Thank you. But no, or yes, maybe just one question. So this Ring Central is
Mhm.
different from the 3CX that we use?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they used to use 3CX like us, and then it was a lot easier to call them because we can just dial their extensions. But since RingCentral, they moved to RingCentral, it's a different service now. We can no longer like call them by their extension. So if I were to call extension 8512 on 3CX, it wouldn't work. It'll give me like a no service dial tone. So in order for me to call them from 3CX to RingCentral, I have to use this number, the primary number. But if you just want to call them through RingCentral, you can just look up the person and then call their extension.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
So just to make sure, this is,
yeah,
I mean, Ring Central is where what we use to perform calls, and 3CX is where we receive calls.
no, so 3C, what we used to perform and to do calls to call people, we use 3CX. This is the one that we use.
Okay.
What CMG uses to do what we do, to make and get calls, they use RingCentral. What I'm just saying is that, let's say you need to call a user, a CMG user, for whatever, and you want to call them to 3CX, you would use the primary number that appears on a profile. But if you just want to call them to RingCentral, that's okay. That's if it's easier for you, you can just call them to RingCentral. But normally, what we do is just we use their primary number, so the number that appears here. The number that appears here is the number that will call 3CX. But through RingCentral, we can call this number.
Okay, thank you.
It's up to you.
Okay, thank you.
I know like Juan likes to call through RingCentral because it's easier. But if you, let's say I want to call a CMG user and I want to get Carlos on the call too, I would call this number and then I would add him to the call 3CX.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, now I have everything understood. Thank you. No more questions.
Right. Yeah, that's RingCentral. So let me show you a little bit about ECW. But ECW, it uses their CMG credentials. So most of the time, they'll call you, say that their accounts, they can't get into ECW credentials. That just means that their account is locked in Active Directory. So here, when they open it, you log in. They'll get the screen. What this is like a schedule for the doctors for the day. So, for example, I'm looking at the schedule for this doctor, and for today he has meetings all day, so he won't be taking patients. Uh, Here, we manage the users. So if you go to staff, you'll see a list of everybody, all the users in the office. You'll notice that in the future, like later on, you'll see like accounts like the ZZ or ZZZ. Those are instead of deleting accounts, what we do is when we offboard them, we deactivate their accounts and we put ZZ just to let people know that these accounts are disabled. We no longer use them. There's also a list of the doctors. The accounts for the doctors are a little bit more. We have to be a little bit more careful with them because they contain like sensitive information. For example, this DEA number that's used to we need to update that every year so that they can send medications within ECW. Yeah, that's mostly managed by us. But you don't have to worry about that for now. What else? Here are some settings. These are some settings that everyone has access to. Sorry. Here you can add or you can remove doctors from this part. So, let's see right here. So if a user calls and they're missing a doctor from here in this list, they can't see it. You just gotta go to their settings and this part, my providers, make sure that whatever doctor they're missing is added to this list. And then whatever change that you do on ECW, like let's say you do a change in their settings, you have to always log out of ECW. Here. Log out. And just log back in again. Okay. You make sure you didn't break gravity or and you also need provider and thank you so much. All of them you're gonna put them in for requests now and then once the logback will show up on your end. And then here, there's another one, resources. It's this list at the bottom on the left-hand side. Same thing. Just make sure it's part of this list. Here, user settings. There are some just general settings. We're not going to focus on them for now. Yeah, there's different stuff like your office visits. Those are more for like other positions, like doctors and stuff like that. So whatever business they have for the day, they'll be able to take track here on this list. Here to their like referrals. Not to worry about that. Telephone encounters. Here, the doctors, this part TV, it's like Zoom calls within the app. These are mostly used by doctors. So this is just like call, like phone, like video calls between the doctors and the patients. So you'll see that this is the web version of ECW. They also have like it's more of a plugin, but it's its own separate application. Most of them just use the ECW app, desktop app. And they look exactly the same. It's not much of a difference. It's the same view. It's not much of a difference. They just prefer to use this so they can have more space on Chrome. And yeah, that's ECW. So just remember that. The main thing you gotta remember is that if they can't log into ECW, then most likely means that their Active Directory account is logged. So just make sure to keep that in mind. Do you have any questions so far?
No, not at the moment. Just basically, just to make sure that I got that right. We will use EA Clinical Works in order to know the availability of the doctors
Yeah,
and
that's something that the people in the front desk area and offices use. I'm just saying like this is just to see, this just gives you a view of like when a doctor is available and they're not, for the staff, not for us. Um, this is just like,
okay.
it shows you what patients they're gonna see. Like this one has a bunch of patients between 8:45 in the morning to 3 o'clock. So you know that from this time they're gonna be busy. That's just
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
people in the office. We don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Thank you. Roger that. No more questions.
Yeah, that's a little bit about ECW. They also use insurance portals for the patient's insurances, but right now we're not going to focus on that because that's a lot of more information. So we'll get into that later. Um, email they were using OA, like a really old version Exchange, but now they use the Outlook app, like the Outlook, Microsoft Outlook platform. So this is how the email looks. Um, Let me show you a little bit about the Active Directory. So normally, like I said, to access the Active Directory, you go to this one, cmg-dc-mgt-02. I just put in RDP, and it's the first one that appears. And then before you can open it, you have to put in your CMG credentials, so your CMG email and then your password. When you log into every time that you log into this server, the RDP server, it'll send you a notification to your phone for Duo that you have to accept. So once you accept that, it'll log you into the server. Here, you won't see on the desktop or here on the toolbar. So to get to this part, the Active Directory part, here, Switch up Active Directory. Make sure it's users and computers. Open up here, open up like this. So here, in order to see the users, you go here, you expand Community Medical Group, open accounts, open CMG users. Then here, you'll see a long list. These are all of the offices for CMG. So Auburndale, Corporate, Florida City. This one it's always been empty. Hialeah, Hillsborough. These are all the offices. And then you have two options to find the user. You can look them up here for the name. Here you'll be able to see if their account is locked. And then the groups of the user. You can also reset the password. Just right click it and press reset password. Here and then if you want to look for them manually, you just go to the location and look for the user here on the right. Also, when an account is locked, we also use another application. It's called Lockout Status. What this does is when you look up a person, it tells you if their account is locked or not, and it tells you which server the account is locked. So, for example, if my account was locked, it'll tell me the server, and based on where the server is, which server it's from, I could find out which computer is locking that account. It'll also tell you when's the last time the person or the user put their password in wrong, and when the last time they changed their password, and what time they locked their account. And this also tells you where they locked their account, what server. So to unlock it, you just do right click and unlock user account. And let's just see computers. You just go a little bit more down. Workstations. And then it's separated into desktops. These are all of the desktops. And then they also have laptops here. Each computer, no matter if it's a laptop or desktop, they receive, but when they're joined to the domain, they get access to domain computers and wireless computers. And then if you need to set up a computer or anything like that, you always make sure that if it's a laptop, they're moved to the laptop. There's a desktop, they're moved to the desktops. And let's see what else. Yeah, that's about it. That's the basics of the Active Directory. You have any questions? No? You guys hear me?
No, not at this
Uh-huh.
moment.
Okay.
Sorry, just that I noticed that I was
No,
muted.
no,
Thank
good.
you, thank you.
No worries. Okay, that's the RDP. This one, Netsu, like I said, it's for the doors. I'll show you a little bit of that. So here, CMG, they use a application called Netsu for the door system. Later on, we'll give you access to that. When you log in, you you have different options here. Users is everyone in the company. Doors, these are all the doors in each of the offices. You can find a user here. here, and
Guys,
then
I'm leaving for break, okay? I'm gonna send a message.
here is the
Operational one.
here's the access they have to the
Gracias, gracias.
doors. If they have access. There's different levels of access here. So if you do all day, every day, that means they have access to the doors 24/7. If there's at no time, they won't have access to that door. And the working hours, so they use badges. They have badges to them, and each door has a badge reader. So if I swipe a badge and if it doesn't let me in, that means I don't have access. It's set to this at no time. So normally we give them working hours. That means that they can access the doors from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they won't be able to access the doors outside of that time. If you give them all day, every day, they'll be able to access the doors 24/7. So we only give that access to management and to administrators. And if you go here to tokens, this is the badge that they have. So we'll put the badge number here. And it'll tell you when's the last time they swapped their badge. And then these are like a log of everything they've done with the badge. Here, doors, the doors, for example, this one. This is the IT room door for one of the offices. It'll tell you who and when access the door. And if it's offline, it'll tell you here at this time it went offline. And yeah, that's a little bit about the door system. Do you have any questions?
No, no. Well, yes, just one question. I mean, regarding the batches, I mean,
Yeah.
we can administrate the batches. However, we can create access to the batches or
So
just administrate them.
when a person starts with the company, there's somebody in the corporate office that is in charge of creating their badges and they send it to them. And then once the user receives the badge, they call us to give them access to the doors. So let's say I receive a badge, I will call the extension 1111, and they'll tell us, I need access to this door, this door, and this door, and it has to be approved by an administrator before we give them any access.
Ah, okay, thank you. Okay, that answer my question. Thank you.
That's the door. That's the door system. Normally, at the beginning, I'll help you out with that. So any requests, you just let me know. But later on, as you get more practice, you'll be able to do it by yourself. And then this is the print server for them. Here, this application, it shows you all of the printers across the offices. And then if you need to connect to a printer, you can. You just put in the password, you put in the IP address for the printer, and then the password to connect to it is 76. It's this IP address. And then the password is 76543331. That's the password for all of the printers.
Okay, I will take note about that.
to add the printer. By default, all of the computers should have them, but it doesn't appear. Go here. It's this one, the Follow Me printer. That's the one that they use. So every time that you add this, if they're not in the office, when you print from this printer, it'll send the job to the closest printer that they're close by. And for every printer, every time that they print the same badge, they have to scan their badge for the paper to come out. So let's say I send it to print to one of these printers. If I don't scan the badge, it's not gonna come out. The job is not gonna print. So yeah, that's the printing system. Do you have any questions?
No, not at this moment. Thank you.
Yeah. Colors. I don't know what else to show them. Colors.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Pedro, I'm so sorry. I was talking to Omar.
You good.
I got some stuff going on in Designer Eyes, and it's been back and forth. I know He's doing a great job teaching him. You pretty much ran through everything already, right?
Yeah, I went through CMG, I went to Autotask, I went to RMM, I went to Dual, CMG Dual, I went through Central, I went through some of the servers for CMG, and how to use
Yeah.
BombGuard.
Yeah, I see the
What
screen.
else? Yeah,
I've been paying attention.
yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want me to show him, or
The what?
is there anything else that you want me to show him?
Well, if you think we touched everything, I guess the next thing would be for him
Yes, it up.
to, look at us shadow for a day or two. And then, what was it? Oh, we need to figure out what time lunch is good for him as well, so we don't have,
Yeah. Marco.
Yes, yes.
So for lunch, we since there's 2, 4, 6, 7 of us, we have different lunch. So I have the pin here. There's the this is really old though. 12.
oh, it's a screenshot page. I was gonna have to send you. I forgot to show you something. Camila. It makes no sense. Let me show you.
Okay, so I sent a list in the chat. It is so here. This
Okay.
is
Yes, I see it.
our lunch schedule that we have. This is our time, so this will be 11:30 to 12:30 your time, 12:30 to 1:30 your time, 1:30 to 2:30 your time, and then 2:30 to 3:30 your time. Normally we have at least like 2 people. I schedule, I mean, I go back and forth between this one and this one. Sometimes I go with Juan, and sometimes I go with Diego, depending on the day. Carlos always
2:30.
Oh, let me adjust it because Andres
We're
takes it
missing
from
Andres
2.
too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So by the moment before the winter time, I am 1 hour behind. Am I right?
Yes.
Correct. So right now in Colombia, it's 11 o'clock, right?
11:47 a.m. Yes.
Yeah. Over here is 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our schedule. So Juan always goes from he's the first one to go. If I'm going with him, we'll be the first two to go. So it'll be 11:30 to 12:30, and then as soon as Juan gets back, Diego will go from 12:30 to 1:30, and then between that time, Andres also goes. So at 1 o'clock, Andres will go from 1 to 2 o'clock, and then also once Diego comes back, Carlos goes from 1:30 to 2:30, and then once both Andres and Carlos are back, Andres gets back at 2, Carlos gets back at 2:30. Joshua was the last one to go at 2:30 to 3:30. 2:30 to 3:30 because he stays. We leave like around 5, so 4 o'clock your time, but he stays an hour later. He starts an hour later after us, so we start first. But we leave early before him, and then he leaves the latest.
Yeah.
So he'll be always
I'm sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
Joshua
Just right.
always do. Huh?
No, I'm just saying we have to give him his hours too. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing great.
Joshua's the last one to leave. Also to start, we work from 7 o'clock to five, so it'll be 6 o'clock to 4 your time. Me and Andres were the first ones to start at 6. And normally you guys start at 7, normal. So yeah, this is the lunch schedule that we have. Just I don't know, what time do you feel comfortable with?
No, I don't mind if you can select any schedule for me. It's okay. Just that
Oh, but you
I
pick,
have.
Marco.
Mhm. Well, yes. Maybe 2:30 p.m. to 3:30, maybe.
Okay, so you gotta go with me then.
Yeah, so
Yes,
you would be going with Carlos at the same time.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So let me fill this in then.
Well, actually, depends on who will be shadowing me because I want to well take the
So
lunch when. Mhm.
so Carlos doesn't deal much with CMG. He has his own company. I mean, his own company, his own clients. So we don't
So okay,
all of it. So
mm,
mostly the ones that you shadow the most are probably Juan, Diego, Andres, and Joshua. So you
uh,
guys you'll be rotating between all of them.
okay, okay, okay. No, then with Carlos, it's okay. Thank you. By the
Yeah.
moment.
So yeah, because at that time it's slow. Not gonna be much calls. So once you get back, it does get a little bit more busy. So when you're back, you'll be able to shadow the guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh, whoever's on the call, we can.
okay, okay.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
add here and this. So this is always gonna be in the top of the chat. So if you're confused, you just go here, here. And yeah, did we give him like the hours? Like, is he work normal hours, or is he gonna work with me and Andres?
Um. Yeah. As far as I know, it's the regular hours from 8 to 5. But if we need to change it, we can.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay,
you will yeah, you'll start with, so when the day starts, it's gonna be me and Andres first, and then an hour later, you're gonna start with Juan and Diego. So you guys be like the second group coming in. So you, Carlos, Juan, and Diego start at the same time.
okay. So just to make sure my schedule will be from 8 to 5.
Yeah, 8 to 5. So it'll be 7 o'clock your time to 4 o'clock your time.
Okay, thank you,
Oh, over
thank you.
here it's over here, and in US it's 8 o'clock to five o'clock.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, okay. We'll follow the schedule then. Thank you.
Um, yeah, I guess that's it for scheduling. We'll get that figured out.